What is going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you are new to the channel, just know I make daily Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the title or thumbnail of this video, in today's video we're going to talk about Ty-Shon Alexander. He has been great for the Charlotte Hornets Summer League team, and I did a similar video about LJ Figueroa yesterday, and then 2 videos before talking about Mark Williams and Bryce McGowan. These are kind of like player profiles, if you want to call it, for new players or potential players, things like that. It's not really stat heavy. I'm talking about more so what I see when they play. Of course I would include stats, so you can get like a general picture, but to me these videos aren't about the stats. It's just talking about how they actually play. One, because like guys like LJ Figueroa and Ty-Shon Alexander, they were in the G League, and I feel like G League stats can be misleading. Stats in general can be misleading depending on what you ran in college and things like that. So I really just like to talk about the eye test, and so if you're someone that's a fan of that, you'll probably enjoy these videos. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So Ty-Shon Alexander, first of all, he is a hometown kid. He was born in Charlotte. He went to school for a little bit in Charlotte and also in Concord, if you're familiar with that place. And then he went to Oak Hill Academy, which we all know was like famous for basically every player. I think, Carmelo, well, Raymond Felton's not a good name. I think he went there too. There's a lot of players who went there. So many, I can't name all of them. But anyway, he ended up going there as well. But Ty-Shon Alexander ended up going to college in Creighton, where I think that's where you saw him grow. As a freshman, he didn't play that much, and then as a sophomore and junior, he started playing more and more. But let's talk about how he plays. So Ty-Shon Alexander, the best way for me to describe it, and I don't mean like these players are not the same player, so before y'all get upset or things like that, these players are not the same player. I could use a better comp, but the comp I'm about to use is more so you already know how this person plays. You don't have to like look anybody up or anything like that. When I say this name, you're gonna be like, oh, exactly. So I'm saving you to research, but just hear me out. These players are not the same. I'm just saying they kind of, the play style is somewhat similar, but obviously there's some skill differential. But Ty-Shon Alexander is a lot like Derek Fisher. So when I say that, what I mean is Derek Fisher was someone who could shoot. He really wasn't that much of a passer. I mean, we all know Derek Fisher as like a great leader, but he really wasn't that much. He was like a floor general, but not in sense of he's throwing guys open and things like that. But he could shoot. He was a point guard, and he was a really good defender. That's what Ty-Shon Alexander is. He's basically a shooting guard that's way too small to play the he's a shooting guard, but he's too small to play the actual shooting guard position. So therefore, he is stuck at point guard. He's only like 6'3", and he's pretty light. I think it's like 190 or something like that. So it's not like he's going to be like Marcus Smart or anything like that. The reason I say Derek Fisher is just because Derek Fisher wasn't known for like getting under the basket and dribble penetration and things like that. But you didn't want to leave Derek Fisher open. I mean, granted, he had Kobe and things like that, but you were not going to leave Derek Fisher open. We've seen plenty of times when people left Derek Fisher open, and that's kind of somewhat of the result you'll get from Ty-Shon Alexander. He is more of a standstill, I hit the 3-point shot type of guy. As you saw when he tied the game last night, game 2 of the Summer League against the LA Lakers, coincidentally, he had a pump fake, got flew by him, and instead of like any like passing or anything like that, he just stood exactly where he was almost and just shot the shot. That's something Derek Fisher would do. Like I said, they're not the same player, but that's just the easiest comp I can give you without having you to have to like look up stats and things like that. And when I say Derek Fisher, you automatically think of how Derek Fisher played, so I'm trying to make it easier for you. But anyway, he's a really good defender. He stays in front of his guy on defense. He's a effort, things like that. He can be a better defender, I feel like, but that could be said for anybody. Unlike LJ Figueroa, how I said LJ Figueroa kind of lets guys get past him, Ty-Shon Alexander doesn't really do that. He's really good at staying in front of his guys. He's not the most athletic person. I think his game really comes from just his mind, if that makes any sense. He's not someone that's going to just out-jump you, outrun you, things like that. But he sets himself in the right position on both sides of the ball. And that's one thing I just really like about Ty-Shon Alexander, but other than he's a hometown kid. He can also run the offense, like I said. Even though he's not that much of a passer, he is just dangerous on offense. So that's the kind of thing that, like, I know, I feel like it's a joke on this channel now, or how I talk about Jay Crutcher, but Jay Crutcher wasn't a threat on offense, so he really couldn't create anything. As opposed to Ty-Shon Alexander. While, like I said, he's not the most athletic guy, so he's not going to take you to the rim every time. But Ty-Shon Alexander can keep you honest because he does have little quick dribble moves, and he's just a finesser, if that makes any sense. So he's gonna play the game his way, but his way is effective. So he doesn't need the muscle or anything like that to be able to play his game. All he does is just need to get in the right spot, and then boom, you done crashed in, and now he can kick it out, or you done left him open, and now he can shoot the three. So he's not someone that's really gonna move to get open, things like that. He's kind of just, if he's left open, he's dangerous. So that's what I mean by he's not the most athletic, but like I said, he is a shooter, and that's what shooters do. So I think Ty-Shon Alexander, I don't know where he would fit on a real team, because I know I talked about LJ Figueroa and how he would fit. I don't actually see where Ty-Shon Alexander would fit, just because of the fact that we already don't have a backup point guard, and the way this team operates, they need a floor general, like someone that can pass people open like LaMelo. We have a bunch of guys who can pass. PJ can pass a little bit, Mark Williams can pass a little bit, Terry Rozier, and then we don't know what's going on with Miles Bridges, but he also can pass a little bit. Gordon Hayward. So these are all guys, Mason Plumlee even. So these guys are all guys that can pass the ball, but they're not like LaMelo, who really runs the offense, gets guys open, things like that. Ty-Shon Alexander isn't that either, but he's not even the type of passer where he's like, Terry Rozier. Even Terry Rozier can kind of get, dish guys and get them open and things like that. Ty-Shon Alexander is a straight up, I'm going to pass you the ball if you're open, and then you go from there. But there's nothing wrong with that. Same thing I said about LJ Figueroa, except LJ Figueroa has the dribble penetration that Ty-Shon Alexander doesn't. He can dribble penetrate, but it's not as effective as LJ Figueroa is. But like I said, that's why I don't really know where he would fit. I really like his game, and it's one of them things where even though he doesn't really fit the team at this point, I'll just take the talent. But we do need a real backup point guard, and I don't think he will be that. Now, depending on what's going on with Isaiah Thomas, then we're talking, because Isaiah Thomas is kind of the same way, except not as good on defense, but he's also not super athletic and things like that. But he's in the right spot, right time. Except defense, I think he is in the right spot in the right time, but he's just so small. But yeah, so if they don't bring back IT, then I see a spot for Ty-Shon Alexander. I personally just like IT more just because of the veteran leadership. But I'm, for whatever reason, because IT balled for us last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if some team actually picked him up. But yeah, with Ty-Shon Alexander, if he wants to take that role, that's fine. I would love him in the Swarm, but I get it. It may be difficult and things like that. I don't actually know how all the rosters moves works, and I'm going to kind of get better at that so I can kind of understand and tell you guys. But yeah, I don't know exactly how they're going to work. But however, I would like Ty-Shon Alexander on the team. I don't know where he would fit. That's the only thing. But he's definitely going to be a good pickup for anybody who he goes to. Like I said, he's someone that will defend and he can hit shots. That's all you want, especially from someone that's going to be like a backup point guard. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So definitely, look up some Ty-Shon Alexander highlights, because those things are exciting. And yeah, I can't wait to see what he does more in Summer League. He might just ball out so much that, hey, just put this guy and we'll find out a place for him. And I'm definitely for that, especially on a team like the Hornets where we struggle to find talent, keep talent. So if we find some guys that are talented like LJ Figueroa, like Ty-Shon Alexander, why not keep them and see where we go from there? Because it seems like that works for a lot of teams. They just take all the talent they can and just go from there. But anyway, that does it for this video, and thanks so much for watching. Peace.